Hello friends, welcome back to Signature Law Firm. Our today's guest is Mr. Manish Patel. He will provide us the information about user privacy.
Alright, so my name is Manish. Mainly by profession, I'm in the IT field. I have a 22 plus years of experience working in various companies, including Microsoft and Facebook. So today, mainly I wanted to talk about the user privacy. This is something that you might have heard recently a lot through the Facebook and other news. A lot of people know it's important, but a lot of people also don't know what exactly it is and why it's important. So today the topic is mainly about the user privacy. What is it? Why it matters the most? How it can be impacting you? Why you need to pay attention? And then I'll talk a little bit about like how you can prevent it. My goal is not to really kind of give you all that tools and different things. It's too complicated, too wide, too broad as well. The idea is mainly to kind of give you some sense of like what are the different things out there, what is the risk involved, why you should be aware of it, so that you can protect yourself. So let's get started. First, wanted to kind of quickly give you idea about like what is the user privacy. So user privacy is mainly the personal informations that could identify a user. That could be that date of birth, your contact information, phone number, your email address, or even your physical addresses where you live and so forth. Financial data, a lot of banks and credit cards and other data are also widely available. So those data are very important. A lot of time, the text data are also online, like your Aadhaar card number or your social security number. So you want to really protect them. Those are the things that you really want to make sure that wherever you enter, are safe and protected. Nowadays, you can also see a lot of your health-related informations, including some basic informations. Really doesn't matter like what's your height or weight. But a lot of time, your mobile applications kind of stored like your lab reports, your other medications that you are taking, other critical informations about your heart rates or something. They are very personal and private, although those informations cannot be used to kind of hurt you in a way. But again, these are the private informations that you don't want to share that out. Just in general, a lot of time you don't enter such information, so you don't need to worry about. But just give you some idea that those are the informations. So wherever on the applications, on the websites where you enter, these are the critical informations that you should pay attention to. Pay attention in the sense like where you're entering, who you're providing that thing, who has access to, how you want it to kind of lock it. Is it something available only to you and the application provider, or it can be seen by a lot of other people on the media as well. So just keep in mind a lot of this information wherever you enter. You want it to know like how who will be accessing and how it will be accessed. So let's talk about that. What's the risk involved? As I said, these are the informations, and then you have seen a lot of cases recently that just a recent case about the Facebook, where Facebook didn't provide the data, but some third party took the data and analyzed user informations, and that was leveraged for some political analysis and so forth. As a user, you might not see any risk involved in this case, but you can see the worst case as well. Like in this case, they know like who you are, where you live, what are your preferences, and that could be used. Such information can be easily used to kind of used for the marketing purpose. So you might start seeing a lot of spam email coming to your way, and you wonder like, how did you get up? Like how you got into these things? And again, seems like very harmless, but this is very common tactics that a lot of marketers use to target those users. So spam is one of the kind of outcome of this informations that you see. Now that's kind of pretty minor version, minor sort of risk involved there. The other larger informations could be that they knowing your email address, they can hack into your account and can also access to your bank informations, and that could be a pretty devastating if that happens. That once somebody get access to your bank account, how what kind of risk can get involved there. The other kind of cases that comes into play, and a lot of time users have no idea about it, is like your identity theft. Identity theft is where somebody would kind of impersonate you They would kind of start using your name, your text IDs, or your mobile phone number and so forth to present yourself as to the bank and other loaners, and then they can start doing all kind of financial transactions which is on your name and which is not something you are aware of, and that could spoil your credits. And to clean that out would take years and years, and it's such a big mess. So those are the worst cases that you could see. Again, there are so many other cases out there. Some of the interesting scenarios or stories I have heard is like user kind of was searching few items online, not knowing, and then from that information they kind of figured out that so and so is kind of pregnant, and then when they start sending the informations about that, they didn't know that person wasn't even married and was like teenager girl. So that created a big kind of issue for that girl, that now their family kind of got involved and so forth. So these are the reason that we really wanted to protect your informations and data. So let's talk about like how do you want it to kind of how do they use that data, and what kind of things that can happen to you. So one of the easy way that you would be attacked is the phishing. So phishing is basically where they would send you some emails and some other informations through the other ways online, where they would provide some fake URL website where you would go and require you to log in, and then this would be the fake. So and it would be exactly same as the original. So for example, it could be your bank looking like a website where you think you are logging to your bank account, but that would be logged into some hackers accounts, and then that's where they would collect your username and the password, and you as a user not knowing that what happened, and they would have access to your account, and they could start doing different things. They also do a lot of spyware. Spywares are the things where you would kind of install certain applications. You have seen a lot of those kind of emails, or even on the Facebook on some posts where it requires you to like installing certain things to access certain informations, or some movies and so forth. And as a user, you have no idea. Once things get installed on your machine, they would start controlling or collecting a lot of information about what you type, what sites you visit, what kind of things that you have on your computer, and they start kind of uploading that thing, and that just kind of now the game is over for user in that case, and they can do a lot of damage to user. You have seen a lot of this kind of cases for on the military sites and also on the government sites. These are one of the very common way that things get hacked. So it's something that you should always be aware of, like how you want it to, like where you go, what kind of information you download, what kind of information you install on your app, what app you install. So be careful about it. And this is also the things that you want it to be very. You would also kind of come across kind of malware that they are just the applications get used online. So not knowing about certain information, so things that you would legitly kind of go to a site and it feels like it's a very legit site, and you're not knowing, now things will be kind of start collecting of what other sites that you visit. They install some cookies on your computers and things get hacked. There are many different ways you would be hacked. These are some common ways that you would be your data could be compromised. So just be aware of it. Key takeaways are like, don't go to this URL that you're not aware of. Never enter your credentials on the sites or the place or the pages that you're not aware of. Always check that you are at the right URL and websites before you enter those data. Don't install applications that you don't need. Make sure that if the application is not trustworthy, don't install on your mobile or on your computer, because they could do a lot of damage that you're not even aware of. So those are just the common takeaway, in this case, how you can protect and how things can compromise. More on like things to really kind of other common tactics to kind of use is make sure that you have very secure passwords. Passwords are basically kind of very common way that user would kind of hack into it. A lot of users, a lot of time, now since there are so many websites that you need to log in, people are kind of keep the common passwords very simple and easy password that they would remember. But at the same time, this would also be very easy to hack. So make your passwords very secure, and don't write them down on a notepad or somewhere. Otherwise, things also can be easily accessed. So having secure password is very important. There are a lot of different security methods available as well. Like a lot of common sites provide that, like two-factor authentications. This might be a little more technical, but basically it protects your data or your account not just with your passwords, but it also requires your email access or your mobile access, where they would send the code and you would require to use that code. So this also kind of using such practices also it's a good way to kind of protect your data and accounts. Also be conscious about your privacy settings. A lot of time, when you kind of give the permissions to, on a particular on the mobile apps, that you give the permissions to applications, they would start tracking your locations or the photos that you take. Even nowadays that I have recently seen, there are a lot of applications, mobile applications are available in Indian markets, where tons of services are available. They are great services, great good app to use, but at the same time, you also give them a lot of access to your sites, like even allow them to read your messages, which is really kind of um, like you're literally giving the keys to your home where they can read your data, your email, and so forth. So you got to be very careful about the applications you use and the permissions you give them. So be careful, just be conscious about it. That doesn't mean that you should not be using those applications. They are very good applications, and in a lot of cases you wanted to use them. Just be very conscious and vigilant about that, what permissions you are giving them and how they are going to use that, and is that really required or not. Be aware of your digital footprints. What that means is this online, everything that you do has been recorded, has been out there. You might think that you just went to this sites and you went to the other sites. A lot of the mobile providers, Google, other applications, they keep track of it, and this is like the really gold mine for them, where they literally kind of connects the dots and figure things out, the whole scenario and cases of you in that case. So not something that you can really do anything about it, but you should be aware of it, that things online, whatever you do, it's out there. Even you think that you have deleted photos, it never get deleted, it will be out there. So this is something that you just need to know about it. A lot of things that you don't know, or as a user might not be aware of it, but this is something you should keep in mind. That could also create the whole profile and scenarios of you. And sometimes you start, in some of the cases you might have seen, like you search for some cameras, and all of a sudden now you go to Facebook and you start seeing the advertisement of the cameras. Now this is not something, it might be useful cases, but something that you should be aware of as a user, that things are connected nowadays. Things get profiled, things get recorded, so you got to be aware of those things. Secure your devices, as I was saying. If you could have very secure things on your computer, but your mobile is not secure, where you might be sharing through the cloud the same files and data. So people might be hacking to your might not be able to hack to your laptop, but they can hack to your mobile devices, and then they would have access to it. So wherever you kind of log in, or your devices, make sure all devices are secure. It's very important. And a lot of time, critical data always get the backup, because once somebody can gain the controls over your devices or your data, they start and bad hackers can kind of start asking you for, demanding for the money and ransom. So you don't want to be in that kind of case where you would be at their mercy to kind of get things, to get access to your data. So always back up your critical files and critical informations, so that you never get into situations where you would be kind of paying, or how to ask others to kind of gain back your access. So be careful about the other thing, as I said, be careful about the phones and things that you kind of install. If you are not using those apps, remove them, because even though apps are out there, they kind of constantly checking and doing things, or even sending some data. So you might feel it's harmless. It could just collect the data, and again, a lot of time not to be like really concerned about it. These are the things that you should just be know and aware of it, so that you can protect yourself. That's main goal. Keeping your system up to date is also very critical, because there are new ways that things get hacked. They find the loopholes in the operating systems, so you constantly see the updates coming from from Microsoft, from Apple, from Androids and so forth. Make sure you update them, because that's the only way you will protect your device and yourself. So we stay on top of those things and get those things kind of protect your devices. As I mentioned, the phishing cases where you will be presented with some information that you think that it's from the legit sources, but instead they are from the hackers. So be aware, check the URL that you visit, make sure that they are like going to the sites that they are intended for. If not, then don't follow them, don't even click them, because that also kind of give the signals to them that they have now connected to the right emails and they know the users. So a lot of things could have been could be done there. So those are the things that you want it to be really kind of. These are the very high level and basic informations about what is the user privacy, how things can be hacked, and what are the things that you want it to do. So hope you find this information useful. If feel free to post a comment or any questions you have. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Thank you for going through this.